2025 happened and we lost our largest retainer client. Very short amount of time to replace that $10,000 a month client. Like, ouch.
You're approaching seven figures. We're real hoping it's this year. Why is it worth it?
I really thought I had to know everything, be good at everything.
Elaine Navarro has gone from side hustler to solopreneur to hiring her first teammates to being an almost seven-figure business owner with a thriving team. Today, we dive into the nitty-gritty about what it looks like to double your business from 420K to 900K plus. If you want to hear about her initial journey, check out the videos below. But in this spotlight, we are talking about team, the pros and cons of managing people. We dive into how this business actually allowed her business to build his dream boxing gym and how building a team has expanded the impact in the state of Oregon and beyond. While scaling a business isn't for the faint of heart, she knows, and frankly, we all know, the legacy she is building will have a lasting impact and positive ripple effects that are yet unknown. Welcome back, Elaine.
So good to see you, Alex.
The last time we chatted in this formal spotlight, you had just tripled your revenue, hired your first few team members, and you were really in the thick of figuring out how to stop doing everything yourself. You went from 120K to 450K in that first year. You had gone from 0 to 120K all by yourself. If you had to describe where you were then and where you are now, what does it look like?
It looks very different in terms of my own autonomy and the team's autonomy. The hardest thing as a founder is trust and, just growing that team and making sure you're bringing on the right types of folks. Some people are built for startup life and just know every day is going to be a little bit different, and some need a lot of structure. We had some great folks that just were great for us at a certain time. And then as the business grew and evolved, it was very clear that that did not align with their vision and what they needed. It's been really important to bring on folks that not only can put their heads down and write really amazing grants, but also be very relationship centric, really good with people and out and about networking and at conferences. And that can be hard to find.
Especially ones that don't want to build their own thing. Here they are being client facing, but within your structure. I think probably team has taken up the most of the change in the last 3 years.
When I first hired, I hired in the wrong order of bringing on folks that could help me with client service delivery before getting admin support. Even when I was hiring new folks, it took me a long time to, okay, I'm going to be in meetings with you and eventually I'm going to phase out. Can't be in 15 client meetings every week to make sure that I'm really focusing on the vision and the future of the business. Business development is always the first thing that falls off the radar when things are really, really busy.
Let's talk about actually what your calendar looks like.
I was still doing a large amount of the actual grant writing as well.
Okay.
I was taking on some of the more complex projects, and my team was handling some of the more, not rinse and repeat, but some that, we're familiar with this funder. We know
Mhm.
the structure, we know what it can look like. But then I was providing the overarching review support. And when that happens, nobody's working in their zone of genius, and it
Right.
doesn't empower the team to be thinking those two steps ahead and really building that muscle of not everything has to pass through me and building their skill sets.
What does your calendar look like today?
My Mondays and Fridays, I try and keep specifically for deep work, business development. I still do hold a few special projects, some clients that come to us for strategic advisory, and then they typically flow into becoming a retainer client. And Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, we do a morning stand up, the full team, just hey, what's going on? What's on fire? What's a win? How's everybody doing? Just so we all kind of know where everybody's head is at that day. A lot of the fun LinkedIn outreach and starting those conversations and getting out and about for networking events is not super regimented, which I love, but it is a lot less of me heads down grant writing.
If you had to give an hours category in 2022 to business development, what, maybe 2 hours a week?
I don't even think I knew what that was because I've been lucky in that we have retainer clients that stay with us. And then 2025 happened and it was such a volatile year that we lost our largest retainer client. I think they gave me a 1 month notice, which was good, but a very short amount of time to replace a client that I'd had for 4 years that was a $10,000 a month client. Ouch. So that's when I was like, oh, this whole business development thing, I think I understand now why this is necessary. You need to be doing it even before you need to be doing it. So now that is definitely a big part of my week. And I have special time on my calendar, ticket activities that I know it doesn't feel at the time pay out, but pay in dividends long down the road.
Why do you choose to continue to invest in coaching and community even as you've grown this?
Probably about when I joined Learn Grant Writing in October 2022. As a one woman show, I really thought I had to know everything and be good at everything over time. And it's still, I have to remind myself often of like, I know what I do really, really well. And I know I have this amazing community and so many colleagues that if a client comes to me and wants to work with us, but I personally don't have that expertise and perhaps my current team doesn't either, I have so many amazing individuals that I can pull in and we can partner and subcontract and do really great work. And I can be learning alongside them, but I don't have to be the one with all the answers. So that's been really powerful on the client front and then business growth front as well to have other peers that are dealing with the same types of things that keep me up at night. Being able to bounce those ideas off of others, because working from home and working in this office, I get caught in my own thoughts quite a bit. And it's really nice to borrow from others things that are working really well in their business and to share with them what's working really well in mine, and would not be doing this if I didn't have communities like that. I would have burnt out a long, long time ago and be back at a 9 to 5.
I think team gets a bad rap, and it's also really hard. Like, there's a reason
Hard,
reputation precedes it because
hard.
managing is not like for the faint of heart. What is the hardest part about managing a team?
I always have lived in the gray. When I work with clients, they can tell me 5% of what I need to know, and I can figure out the other 95%. Like that's just part of how I work. Very creative, very outside the box thinkers. And me coming to the realization that not everybody's brain works that same way as mine. And it's good to have different types of learning styles on the team and probably better than my learning style. When I give someone what I think is clear direction and I see a look and I'm like, oh man, I'm doing that again. Like I need to be very black and white. I need to be very, this is what I would like done. I don't care the pathway of how we get there, but this is what success looks like. But it was just really making sure that I am being clear as kind. I was always very much in background roles in my previous life as like an executive assistant or just doing things to help support others. That now that I am the one that needs to be supported, it takes a lot for my brain to remember that, like, oh, it's okay for me to ask this of my team. It's very much within their job description. They're probably happy to do it. It gets something off my plate. I just need to ask in a way that's clear.
You're approaching seven figures. We're real hoping it's this year. You have this whole team, you're making more money. A lot of this sounds more stressful. Why is it worth it?
I will not sugarcoat it and say that there have not been days that I'm like, I'm just gonna burn it all down. I'm just gonna start over and I'm just gonna be a one woman show again and do this thing. And then I remember, and it's like, I remember what you're saying, why I started this in the first place. It really was born out of just wanting to create a place and a space for other amazing women to be treated with respect, to have really impactful work that they're doing, to have as much work life balance as humanly possible because we are not one dimensional individuals, to have community even within the business wrapped around them, of knowing that they're not alone and trying to figure out, oh man, I've got this kind of tricky client. How should I work with this? Let's crowdsource it. Again, like we have our big weekly meetings, we have our morning syncs that are a little bit more quick. But if there's an issue, like let's all talk about it. Let's all figure it out together. And so that is really my North Star. And when I feel stressed or that things aren't going the way that I want, I always remember that, like, I want to create something, whether my team stays with me forever, I would love if they did, but if they move on to something else in the future, they'll always look back at this as like a really positive experience. And like, I hope my next workplace is just as great as it was at Just Look Left. Or, ooh, I love how they did that. I'm going to try and implement that in my own future business or my next career pathway. So that really brings me back to like, it is still so worth it. It's the hardest thing I've ever done. And I've had kids. Like it is the hardest thing I've ever done. And just like the balance of like, I could sit in this office all day and my family could be out there living their life. And like, I have to remember like, no, like we're done. Enough is enough. Let's go be a mom now. Let's go do all the other things that we enjoy. And the business will be waiting for me in the morning and it'll be great. So that's why it still makes sense. Yeah.
I have the benefit, the privilege of being in Oregon with you. And in my opinion, Just Look Left Grants is known in many places across the state as the grant writing consultancy to go with. I love it because you are just everywhere. The expansion of your team and this expansion of identity into founder and all of the hard work that you've put into scaling this business, I've seen it impact obviously your personal life, also impacting our state. Let's talk about your vision for the business.
Oregon isn't the biggest state in the world, but there's a lot going on in terms of like, there's a lot going on. And over time, we've been able to niche a little bit further down to know like who our ideal clients are and who we work really well with and who can we can be successful with and who maybe is just a little bit outside of our zone of genius, but you know that I know 3 4 or 5 amazing people that I can do a beautiful warm handoff to. So I think it's just us really children, youth and family space is really where we thrive. The majority of the team are moms or, at least like kids. That's, usually a prerequisite of serving a nonprofit that serves in the youth space. And that mid-sized nonprofit is really where we have found a lot of success.
Tell us a little bit about the impact in Oregon. Like,
It's cool to see many of our clients that we've maybe worked with for 4 or 5 years surviving things in terms of federal funding and all of that craziness. Looking back at when we first started working with them, they were all volunteer, probably didn't have any of their programs dialed. They're newbies, they're startups. And then to look at where they are now and like the level of sophistication and that they have paid staff and they're able to make really beautiful livelihoods for others that are working within their organization. And we had a large part to do with that. Like, I love that, like, we're a small team, but like that impact that we've had just keeps expanding. And there's been a lot of cool, like, crossover and collaboration within our client portfolio that otherwise, if we weren't kind of that binding force, they probably wouldn't know about the good work that everyone else is doing. Because in the world that we live in now, it's like we have to be collaborative. Individuals and organizations working in silos, it's not going to work anymore. The funding is harder to come by, it's more challenging. And if we're not working together, I mean, we're then working against each other, and it's no good.
part of your vision also is your family and what you do with the vision of your family unit. And one of the visions is to have an incredible boxing gym, and you are the owners. You just moved to this great new location last year. How does your business vision fit in with your family vision?
It's been such an interesting trajectory. My husband has always had a 9 to 5. The boxing gym was his side hustle. We started that in, I think it was January 2021, in the depths of COVID. It was very risky at the time, but it is what the community needed. And very quickly, it morphed into, oh, it's just a simple boxing gym. Ha ha ha. It's not then when you start getting the calls from the parole officers, the foster care agencies, the moms at the end of their rope of like, I've got this kid. They've got suicide attempts. They're getting bullied. I don't know what to do with them. I've tried everything. Can I bring them in? Just to be around a positive environment with other people that are dealing with a lot of the same stuff. Our coaches all have very lived experience, past, juvenile justice, gang violence, or all sorts of things that they've overcome because there's 2 pathways forward here. And we want kids to choose the right one. It's been a pull on my husband, Adam, who really is the operations behind it and the vision. Last year, I was really hoping would be the year that I could kind of like retire him from his day job, but it just wasn't in the cards. At the very end of March, he finally was like, I just got to take this leap. And I'm like, do it. And on the last day of his job, we got notified that a grant that we had applied for back in the summer prior that we weren't awarded for, they were allocated more money from the feds and they were able to give us the grant, and it was paying for his salary for the next 2 years. It was just so serendipitous. He's busier than ever now that he just has the gym, but is doing what he's supposed to be doing. He's happier and he's our family hype man. So it's like when he's up, we're all up. It's been great. And so our kids see how busy we are and see how much we work, but we bring them to the boxing gym often. They understand why we're doing what we're doing. Or I talk to them about what I do at work because they're like, what are you doing on your computer all day? And I'm like, just saving lives. No big deal. I hope would be that Just Look Left is still in existence when they are at a time in their lives when they can get their first job and help me and understand how this works and just continue to do the good work long after I am old and gray.
It's not a surprise to anyone who knows you that your kids have hearts of service. It is ingrained in your whole family and it's quite beautiful. So I just really appreciate this part of your story because it opens so many doors, and all the coaching that you've received on building your own businesses, the hard knock life lessons, like all of it feeds directly into the boxing gym and vice versa. Rapid fire questions. What is your favorite soul care activity?
I'm kind of a nice cold drink in my hand, book by the pool kind of a gal.
What is your favorite way to celebrate?
Just a nice farm to table dinner, just getting out and about, eating really good food, nourishing my body, and cheersing to whoever's with me and at that table.
You were really burned out before you found the collective. Then we gave you some systems to make more money. In your last video, you ended your video with go to bed smiling and I wake up smiling. Is that still how you feel about the work today?
I do feel that way, but the difference is that it's not usually something I personally did. I love when others around me are doing great work for our clients. It's really cool just to see them empowered and excited and like, wow, it's a lot of work. But then when they get that award and they see the impact that that client is going to then be able to have on the community, it's like, it's all worth it.
I am so grateful that you are in this community with us, and we couldn't do this without you. So thank you for being such an amazing unicorn and spreading your light everywhere you go.
Of course, I couldn't do it without you guys either. So grateful. Thank you.